Today's interview, as well as my shirt in fact, comes very much courtesy of late night impulse purchases online. So the shirt, I saw it online. I thought, wow, it's got books on it. Isn't that amazing? Have to have. Only when I looked closer, having received it, I found out it's more about skulls and fairies. But never mind, it still has books. So I'll take it. The other one, my other online impulse purchase, came to me courtesy of a book that I found in the library and adored. It's called The Slow Regard of Silent Things. It's a 2.5 in a series, and I had never heard of the series nor of the author when I picked it up from the library. The Slow Regard of Silent Things was an amazing book. I adored every short second of it, and based on that, I went online, I searched for the author, called Patrick Rothfuss, completely new to me, and I bought the number 1 and the number 2 in the series. Here we have The Name of the Wind, the number 1, and Wise Man Fear, number 2. The Name of the Wind. I got it, and I read it, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. It's a fantasy novel. It is a little bit uniquely put together in that our main character, Kvoth, thank goodness you only have to read it most of the time. You don't actually have to say it. But yeah, anyway, he was a famous guy. When this book starts, he's no longer a famous guy. He's bartending somewhere, and he starts telling his story in 3 parts. The first book, of which there's a significant portion, is the first part, and I read it with a great deal of enjoyment. It's a fantasy, questy type book, and I really enjoyed the premise. I really liked the world building. I enjoyed the reading experience in general. There was a freshness to a lot of Kvoth's adventures, and I challenge you to say Kvoth 5 times without breathing deeply. It overcame the fact that a lot of the concepts weren't entirely new, that questy type back and forth narrative at times felt patchy. There was a portion about so far through the novel where it seemed to me that it kind of lost track of what it was aiming for. There was a lot of back and forth. I loved the university being where the book I truly fell in love with the 2.5 happened. In 2.5, it revolves around a main character called Ori who lives in the forgotten spaces of the university. She is human, but not really with it, and it's magical realism with more realism than magic. Kvoth comes into it in passing. However, Ori is only peripherally mentioned in The Name of the Wind. It's basically a fantasy quest type novel. Occasionally it was fragmented. Sometimes Kvoth, the younger, behaved so randomly I found it a bit mystifying and annoying. All too often during it I felt we had foisted upon us that foreshadowing that comes as a feeling of impending doom, and which I never love. But on the whole, none of the fragmentations, none of the inconsistencies or annoyances impeded me from enjoying this book very much. When I put it down, I had full intention of going on to the second book, which I had purchased impulsively at the same time, instantly. The cover is gorgeous. Just look at that cover. Isn't that stunning? Equally as stunning as the weight of it. Look at that book. It is a doorstop. It isn't just a doorstop on my small unit. It's a doorstop in a cathedral. It is massive. You could use it as a dangerous weapon in case of home invasion. And I have, to this day, never actually read it. I purchased them back in 2016, mind you. There's been plenty of time. It's been so long since I read The Name of the Wind that I suspect I'd need to read it again to catch up with where I was. And if you hop online these days, you can see a lot on the fact that Patrick Rothfuss never finished the number 3, so you're never actually going to finished the last one in the series. I don't actually know if that's true, and I don't think it matters. I enjoyed the first one, and while when I finished it, I burned to start the second one. It never really happened. So, impulse purchases, late night, all alone, on the internet with a credit card. Sung to the song of Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Late nights all alone with a credit card. Yeah, it's a good book. Some people love it. It seems to have fallen by the wayside a bit. You don't hear about it as much. One day, perhaps if I'm laid up for many, many hours, I will reread The Name of the Wind. And I will also reread the really beautiful 2.5, The Slow Regard of Silent Things. Funnily enough, I didn't buy that one when I bought the other two. I should have bought that one. I'd have reread that one by now for sure. But yes, I'd like to, should I ever be laid up with 2 broken legs, I'll sit down and I'll reread number 1. I'll reread 2.5, and I will finally read all, however many thousand pages. How many thousand pages are there? Oh no, it's only 979 pages of The Wise Man's Fear. Tell me if it's worth it, if you've read it.